What if I told you that the difference between selling a $200,000 house and a $20 million mansion isn't talent? It's strategy. The world's top 1% of real estate agents aren't just working harder, they're playing an entirely different game. And today, for the first time, I'm pulling back the curtain on exactly how they do it. I've spent the last decade studying the most successful real estate agent on the planet. A person who closes more deals in a month than most agents do in their entire careers. Someone who turned down a $15 million offer to reveal these secrets just last year. But before I share what I've discovered, I need to warn you. What you're about to learn might make you angry, because once you see how simple their method really is, you'll realize how much money you've been leaving on the table. The agent I'm talking about doesn't have some fancy degree. No family connections in high places. No special access to exclusive listings. What they do have is a completely different understanding of what this business is actually about. See, most agents think real estate is about properties. They're wrong. The top 1% know it's about solving impossible problems for people at critical moments in their lives. Let me give you a quick example. When this agent walks into a listing presentation, they don't talk about square footage or school districts first. Instead, they ask one question that changes everything. If we were sitting here 6 months from now and you felt this was the best decision you ever made, what would have happened? That single question has helped them close deals that were considered impossible. Because while everyone else is selling features, they're solving the actual problem. But here's where it gets interesting. The way they structure their entire business directly contradicts what every real estate course teaches. In fact, they do 3 things daily that most agents would consider career suicide. And I'm going to reveal the first one right now. Most agents are obsessed with being everywhere. Social media, billboards, bus benches, shopping carts, plastering their face wherever possible. The world's top agent. They're invisible. No personal branding. No face on business cards. No look at me marketing whatsoever. Instead, they use what I call the shadow authority method. They create specialized market reports so valuable that other real estate professionals pay thousands just to access them. These reports get cited by major publications, which means clients discover them through trusted sources, not advertisements. When potential clients finally reach out, they're not thinking, "Is this agent good enough for me?" They're thinking, "Am I good enough to work with this agent?" That power shift changes everything about the relationship. But here's what's truly mind-blowing. This agent spends 80% of their marketing budget on something that not a single real estate course even mentions. Something so counterintuitive that when I first heard it, I thought it was a joke. Before I reveal what that is, let me ask you, have you ever wondered why some agents can charge double the commission and still have a waitlist of clients? The answer isn't skill or experience, it's something much simpler. The average agent tries to prove their value by working harder. More showings, more phone calls, more availability. The elite agent does the exact opposite. They've discovered what psychologists call the scarcity principle and weaponized it in their business model. This agent only takes client calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 1 to 5 p.m. They only show properties on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And they only work with 7 clients at a time, no exceptions. These limitations don't drive clients away. They create a frenzy of demand. But here's the shocking part. This scarcity isn't just a marketing tactic. It actually makes them better at their job. By batching similar activities together, their cognitive performance on each task improves by up to 40%. When they're negotiating, they're fully present, not distracted by 20 other clients blowing up their phone. The results speak for themselves. Their average sale closes 2.7% higher than market value. On a $1 million home, that's $27,000 of additional profit for their client. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, that wouldn't work in my market, or my clients would never accept those terms. Let me ask you something. If your child was gravely ill, would you want a doctor who sees 50 patients a day, or one who only takes 10 cases but has a 98% success rate? When the stakes are high, people don't want the most available expert, they want the best expert. And nothing has higher emotional stakes than a home. It's where children will grow up, where memories will be made, where life's biggest moments will unfold. Your clients aren't looking for availability. They're looking for excellence. But the most counterintuitive strategy this agent uses has nothing to do with time management. In fact, it completely contradicts what most real estate gurus teach about client relationships. And it's the reason they've never lost a listing to a competitor in over 5 years. The world's top agent rejects 71% of potential clients who want to work with them. Let that sink in. They turn down millions in potential commission every month, but their income is still 8 figures annually. Why? Because they've mastered what I call the rejection method. Here's how it works. Before they agree to work with anyone, potential clients must complete a detailed questionnaire and attend a 90-minute mutual interview. During this meeting, the agent actively looks for reasons to turn the client away. This sounds insane until you understand the psychology behind it. When you eagerly pursue every client, you signal low value. When you carefully select who you work with, you signal extraordinary value. But there's a deeper strategy at play. By the end of this interview, clients have had to convince the agent to work with them, not the other way around. This completely inverts the power dynamic of the relationship. The clients who make it through this process don't just respect the agent's expertise, they feel privileged to access it. They follow advice without questioning. They refer high-quality connections without being asked. But most importantly, they never ever negotiate on commission. Now, I've saved the most powerful secret for last. The one strategy that has single-handedly generated over $100 million in commission for this agent. It's a technique so simple that you could implement it tomorrow, yet so powerful that it transforms ordinary listings into bidding war magnets. In fact, this technique is the reason why their listings sell for an average of 12% above asking price, even in down markets. But before I reveal it, I need to be clear about something. Every property has what psychologists call an emotional centerpiece, the single feature that creates an irrational desire to own it. Most agents focus on highlighting every feature. The elite agent does the opposite. They identify the emotional centerpiece and build their entire strategy around amplifying it. Let me give you a concrete example. They once listed a fairly ordinary suburban home that had been on the market for 110 days with another agent. The previous agent had highlighted all the standard features: updated kitchen, spacious bedrooms, good schools. Our agent took a completely different approach. The home had a small reading nook with a window overlooking the backyard. Most agents wouldn't even mention it, but this agent recognized it as the emotional centerpiece. They removed furniture from the adjacent room to emphasize this space. They hired a photographer specifically to capture it at different times of day. And most importantly, they crafted the property description around the emotional experience of this single feature. The listing started with, "Each morning, sunlight streams through the eastern window of the reading nook, creating a private sanctuary where time seems to stand still." This ordinary house sold in 6 days with 14 offers, all over asking price. But the real genius was in how they showed the property. They used a psychological principle discovered by behavioral economists that triggers what's called ownership anticipation in the brain. When properly activated, this mental state makes buyers up to 4 times more likely to make an offer within 24 hours. Here's exactly how they do it. First, they identify the emotional centerpiece, the one feature with maximum emotional impact. Then, they deliberately delay showing it during property tours. They show everything else first, building anticipation. When they finally reveal the emotional centerpiece, they don't say a word. They simply allow the clients to discover it themselves and watch their reaction. This creates what psychologists call a peak emotional experience, a moment of discovery that gets encoded in long-term memory. But the magic happens next. Instead of continuing the tour, they say, "Let's take a moment here. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine waking up in this home 6 months from now. What's the first thing you'd do in this space?" This simple prompt activates the brain's simulation mechanism. The potential buyers aren't just seeing a house anymore, they're mentally living in it. They're not evaluating a property, they're protecting a future they've already begun to cherish. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most powerful emotional centerpiece you've encountered in a property? The feature that made you think, I have to have this home. Share your experience in the comments. I read every single one. Here's what fascinates me most about these strategies. They don't require special talent, connections, or decades of experience. What they require is courage. The courage to reject conventional wisdom and focus on what actually moves human beings to action. The world's most successful agent isn't just selling properties. They're creating emotional experiences so powerful that price becomes secondary. And in doing so, they're not just changing the real estate game. They're changing lives, including perhaps yours.